Today we're looking at this telescopic lift universal drum rotator. This model has powered lift, but we also have powered rotation, so the drum is tipped by pressing the buttons on the rear panel. We've got the band open at the front, so we're ready to pick the drum up. Push the unit forward. The band goes all the way around the drum. There's a metal segmented band. Bring the D-ring on the strap around the front and hook it on. We then take the slack end of the strap, pull it through to take all the slack out of the system. We then operate our ratchet. Doesn't need to be too tight, just nice and snug. We then have our rim clamp. This grips onto the top lip of the drum and provides vertical support. It's particularly useful when you've got plastic drums that are very slippery. So we lift up the rim clamp, hook it over the top, and wind down our wing nut. Make sure that's nice and tight. So visually inspected, straps tight, wing nuts tight. Now press the lift button. On the unit we've got rear wheel steering, so this tiller can be used for pushing the unit forward. We've got our handles here, but we can also pull this back, and you can see the wheels at the rear with our brakes on are turning with the tiller. This means that to move the unit, the wheels are always facing the correct direction. We're not having to fight any casters if we've got a heavy drum. So I'll bring the unit back to show you how it manoeuvres around. Again, steering the wheels in the direction we want to travel. Now we'll bring it back and line it up with our vessel. It's important you have nice, smooth, flat floors. We do offer power-driven models as well if needed. So I'm going to lift a bit higher. Now this model is telescopic, so we'll lift it to full height, show you the full range of lift, and then we'll tip into our vessel, but we'll bring it down a bit before we tip the drum. So let's lift it up. So the standard models lift to sort of about this height, about 1.5 meters above the ground. And then the telescopic model, we have a complete extra set of lifting channels. Very similar to how a forklift would operate. So we're now at maximum lift of this telescopic unit. I'm going to lower the drum down so we're closer to our vessel. Not going to risk tipping from that height. Good rule of thumb is just having the drum just above the vessel and bringing it in to touch the vessel. So in position there, then we press our tip button. You see the powered tipping. I'm going to stand behind the unit, do all the tipping from back here, well away from the liquid we're tipping. Compress return. Bring the unit back before bringing it upright. Get it nice and straight and lower it down. The powered tipping really speeds up the operation of tipping a drum, and it's a great feature when you've got a telescopic unit and you may be tipping up at 2.5 meters and you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach the rotation handle on a standard machine. To drum on the floor, to undo it, we do a reverse operation. So we hold our rim clamp and loosen it off. We then release our ratchet by fully opening it. Take the slack out So we've got a nice bit of slack there. And then release our band from the front. We can now simply pull the drum out. We're ready to go collect another drum and tip that into our vessel. We've now got this blue Mauser drum. It's an open top drum. So again, we position the band around the belly, push the unit forward, all the way home. Strap around the front and hook it in position. Pull our slack through and tighten up. Then have our rim clamp. The rim clamp connects under this lip. The rim clamp's actually at just the right height, but I'll show you how to adjust this. We hold the rim clamp and remove this pin. The rim clamp then comes away completely, and you can see the series of holes here. This allows us, if we had a short drum, we can position the rim clamp much lower to cater for that shorter drum. But for this drum being taller, I'm going to lift it up and refit our pin. We've got a securing chain, locks that pin in place. So to secure the rim clamp, lift it up, hook it over the top once I've flattened enough off, and then tighten it like so. So this drum's full of water, so it's going to weigh about 200 kilos thereabouts. Both secure, ready to lift. I've already showed you the lift height of this unit, so I'm going to bring it forward, keeping it about halfway lifted in this case, and then we'll lift it a little bit more before we tip. Our drum of water is fully empty. Bring the unit back. Get the drum straight again and lower down to the ground. If you're handling lots of drums per day, we also offered clamping models where we grip the drum hydraulically. And if you're transporting drums long distances, we offer a power drive model where from the rear of the unit you can drive the machine forward and backwards instead of having to push and pull it around the workshop. To release the drum, hold the rim clamp with one hand, slacken off the top, lift it off, and then opening our ratchet, pulling the lever, opening it fully, like so. Gives us some slack to release the strap at the front. Our strap's open. You can simply pull the drum out of the band, just like so. This is the universal band. To take a drum out of it, we loosen off the top rim clamp by undoing this ring nut. We then take the top section off so the rim clamp is clear from the drum. We then take the loose handle, hold on to this, pull this lever to position the ratchet out and pull it all the way around until it clicks. When it clicks, the strap will be loose. And you see that loose strap, we can then disconnect it from the other side of the band. And because it's loose, we can bring it around and remove the drum. Looking again at our universal drum band, this band's adjustable for different drum diameters. At the moment, it's set up for a drum of 580 millimeters in diameter, but we can reduce this down to 350 millimeters. To adjust the band diameter, the arms are sliding, So I can pull the arm towards the other one, and I can also push this left arm towards the centre. We then need to take out some of these plates, and we do this by holding in the centre and removing these two pins. We then take one band in one hand, one band in another, and pull them apart. We bring them across and slot it into the next set of holes. We then take our pin, refit it in the two holes here, and we then have the band with a smaller diameter. You can see this section of band is at the back, and there's other holes here, so we can adjust the band at a variety of diameters depending on the drum we plan to tip. You can see now if I pull in this smaller drum, this drum's empty just for an example, you can see that this smaller diameter, the drum is on the centre line of the gearbox, and we can then attach it with a ratchet as shown in the previous part of the video. We're now looking at the rear panel of this machine. You can see all the labels are in Spanish for this machine because it's being shipped across to Spain after the video. To turn the unit on, we take our power key, put it in the position and twist it clockwise. We also have a spare key attached here. Once we turn the machine on, you'll see our battery condition meter switches on. You can see the orange light. This shows us the state of charge of the battery in the side of the machine. It's important when the machine is not in use that we charge the machine to keep the batteries maintained in a good condition. To charge the machine, on the right hand of the machine, on the side of the box, we have our mains power connector. So you plug in the supplied cable into the side of the box to begin the charging. The charger itself is built into the control box. The other controls we have here, we have an emergency stop button. We press it down firmly, and you can see our power's gone off. We've cut all the functionality to the machine. This is a safety feature. To reset it, we lift up the button, you hear it click, and you can see our power is back on. The main controls along here is we have our lift and lower function and our tip return functions. So we press lift, let go and it stops, and we press lower. Then our tip return, so tipping forward and tipping back. When we're finished with the machine, turn the key off and take it away if needed.